everyone to a new edition of ESPN Junior on a wonderful Friday afternoon. My name is Pierre Simonian, coming to you guys with Hago Banasian and Henry Banasian. Alright, so starting with the All-Star Reserves, they just released the list this week. Coming into the #1 spot, Kyrie Irving, then Drew Holiday,
wow,
Tyson Chandler, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, Paul George, and Chris Bosh. The All-Star Reserves for the East. What do you gotta say for these All-Stars?
First of all, I'd like to say Joakim Noah is not an All-Star. He's just a guy that goes and hustles. But I don't want him to be in the All-Star team. That is not an entertaining person to watch.
What about Luol Deng?
He's terrific.
No.
He's having an All-Star season too, you know?
Yeah, but I don't think he should be in the
Why not?
All-Star.
If you're having an All-Star season, put him in.
Great choice, Pierre.
Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, and interesting about Chandler, that's his first All-Star appearance. Well deserved. He is an All-Star this year.
And Paul George.
I don't think that's a good choice.
You know, he should win Most Improved Player.
I don't think that's a good choice.
Why? Why do you not think?
Because they should put Stoudemire instead, in my opinion.
He was injured more than half the first half of the season. Come on,
Good point.
My point is he barely played. Moving on to the West, Pierre.
Alright, so we got a #1 start, LaMarcus Aldridge. #2, Tim Duncan, James Harden, David Lee, Tony Parker, Zach Randolph, and Russell Westbrook. What do you guys have to say about
Let me say it off the bat. I don't think David Lee should be in the All-Star.
I am agreeing with Hackett here. I think Jamal Crawford has deserved an All-Star.
Yes, Jamal Crawford should be in there.
Completely dominant.
6th man of the
I
year.
just pulled up, there's too many big men. We got Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Tim Duncan, David Lee, and Zach Randolph. That's too many big men to me. In my opinion, they should have more shooters and stuff. Now let's move on to the starting lineup for the West and East All-Stars.
Before we go on there, who do you think is the most surprising All-Star for the Eastern Conference?
Kevin Garnett.
No.
For the starting lineup, I don't think Kevin Garnett should be in there. He should be a bench. He should be a bench.
They should trade him in with Tyson Chandler. But I think the most surprising for me is Drew Holiday.
Yes.
Philadelphia 76ers, they're not having a good season. They seem to be out of the playoff spot, I'm guessing right now.
I don't know.
Yes, they are. They're 9th place in the East. I don't think he deserves it this year. I think there's better point guards than there's for him.
I believe so too.
Now let's move back to the starters of the East and West All-Star. On the West, we have Kobe Bryant. There's not a surprise. We got Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard, and Blake Griffin. Anything?
4 of the 5 LA
players.
players. 4 or 5. Second year in a row. This time not Andrew Bynum, but Dwight Howard.
What do you guys have to say about that?
I don't think Dwight Howard deserves to be a starter. He's not having.
Now, I disagree with you. It's not him that's having the off season. I think it's the team that's having the off season. Because he's showing up. I don't think the rest of the team is. Because usually he gets 20 rebounds at least. Not 20 points and like 10, 15 rebounds.
I have a quick question for you guys.
Alright.
If the West won the All-Star game, who would you give the MVP to? Before you even see them play.
I would probably give it to Kevin Durant.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That was disgusting.
I would give it to Kobe Bryant.
Yes, because in the All-Star game, it's all on entertainment.
And I think Kevin Durant's
the
gonna have
leading scorer. And it's gonna be in Houston. Oh, now that I said Houston, Kevin Durant against James Harden, same team, Houston. It's gonna be delicious.
Delicious. Interesting.
Now let's go on to the East All-Stars. We got Dwayne Wade, not a surprise. Rajon Rondo, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Kevin Garnett. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, that is very interesting because Kevin Garnett and Carmelo Anthony got into it. And it's going to be very funny and entertaining to see them.
You guys forgot a big word.
You guys watched last night's game?
Hold on.
They fight a lot.
You guys forgot a big word in that starting line. Awkward.
Why?
Because Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Garnett, first of all, they got into a fight. Kevin Garnett cussed out Carmelo Anthony's family, and that was not right.
Well, we don't know that for a fact.
But also, There's no center in this lineup.
Garnett.
He's not a center. He's a forward.
They don't
He's a power
have
forward.
a
Look at this.
big team.
Rondo is a point guard. Dwayne Wade is a shooting guard. LeBron James, small forward. Carmelo Anthony, small forward.
Power forward.
But he shouldn't be power forward.
We know LeBron James.
And Kevin Garnett's a power forward. There's no center in there.
Well, we know LeBron James is capable of playing power forward to put strength and size.
But you know what happened this year? Carmelo Anthony, once that coach put him into the power forward spot, he's been having an MVP season.
Because of the mismatches, they're slow players most of the time on the power forward position, and that enables Carmelo Anthony to go off on a scoring tear.
Speaking of scoring terror, I know this was way earlier, but I think that's a world record in a basketball game for 22 points in the first quarter.
That's not
Okay.
a world record, that's just a hot streak. Carmelo is just... And 41 points in the first quarter for the entire team.
But
That's just ridiculous defense.
Rajon Rondo, his team is not having a good year this year.
Yeah,
And I'm
no.
surprised Paul Pierce didn't make it this year.
Well,
It's-
Paul Pierce, as you see, he cannot play defense. Joe Johnson, my man right there, he broke him twice.
yeah, but he's
You guys
not on
gotta
the
look
All-Star
that up.
lineup this year either.
Well,
We got
Joe,
Kyrie Irving and Drew Holiday.
I think Kyrie Irving deserves it, but Drew Holiday doesn't.
Doesn't deserve. Doesn't make sense why he's on this right now.
I think instead of Drew Holiday, they should put Collison. Something Collison.
There's Darren Collison.
Darren Collison, yes, I'm sorry.
All right,
Here's the
so
big question for the All-Star game. Who do you think will win, East or West?
West has a lot of talent.
I love the idea of LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony in the starting lineup. They are perfect for each other, but I think the West is just gonna kill them.
It's gonna be blowout. West has too much talent. Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin, compared to Dwayne Wade, Rajon Rondo, LeBron James, and Carmelo Anthony. Just I don't see them.
I think
crashing.
Carmelo Anthony is going to be the leading scorer in the East because he's going to be guarded by Blake Griffin, and I think that's going to be a mismatch.
That will.
So
All right,
we'll have to see. We'll have to find out.
Now let's move on to the Los Angeles Lakers.
yes, Lakers are having
Horrible.
one of their worst seasons in history for them.
Yes,
Usually a playoff team, and Henrik and Nancy, do you think they're gonna make the playoffs right off the bat?
Nope.
I still believe they will because if you look at the standings, they're only 4 games behind the 8th spot. Even though in their last 10 games they've gone 2-8, they're doing horrible right now. But I think they'll find a way to get in the playoffs.
After the All-Star break, you think they're gonna have a breakout?
Hopefully, I'm hoping for it. I hope Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard get in a great relationship before all this blows up and this Dwight Howard trade
We're having
talk.
some trade talk, yeah.
Yeah.
There has been some trade talk of them trading Dwight Howard.
Yes.
I clearly don't see why they would do
There's
that.
And how is some?
Rumor has it that the Dallas Mavericks might be pursuing Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
Yes.
they seem interested, or the Brooklyn Nets.
But speaking of playoffs, I think Lakers aren't going to make it because they're 17.
We'll cut that part.
All right, so
Speaking of playoffs, the Lakers are 17 and 25 right now. And you said they were 4 games behind
Yes.
8th
Yeah.
place, 8th seed.
Yeah.
yes,
You're acting like the Houston Rockets aren't going to lose any games.
They are. They will.
No, I mean, they're not going to win any games. Because if Lakers keep winning, but Houston keeps winning, then that's
Well,
not going to make a
today-
difference.
Today it's the Spurs and Mavericks at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune into that. That'll be a great game.
on ESPN.
Yeah.
Um,
The Mavericks have 24 losses. If they lose today, they'll be tied with the Lakers. So that'll make the Lakers go into 11th place now instead of freaking.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yo.
So the Lakers have their next 5 games versus Utah, versus OKC, versus New Orleans, at Phoenix, and at Minnesota.
I say they win all of them.
I say they win
lose all.
4. I say they win 4 out of the 5 games.
I say
Actually,
they
3
win
out of the 5.
I think the
games.
Lakers have had it with the Thunder. They're gonna come out there and beat the Thunder by 20 points. Bold statement. I'm backing it up with facts
Okay,
right
you
now.
know why I think they're gonna win 2 out of the 5 games?
Why?
First, they're gonna beat Utah. I can tell they're gonna have a blowout game. Utah, a young team.
Even though they're a surprise team.
Home of the Sap. Yeah. OKC, they're gonna get blown out. Just too much talent on that team. A lot of young talent, and they have a future ahead of them. New Orleans, they have young talent. Anthony Davis, they're gonna have another breakout game.
Yeah, but Eric Gordon is not playing Pearson only.
Yeah,
But speaking about
And the Hornets are in last place.
But speaking of New Orleans Hornets, they want to change their team's name
to the Pelicans.
Starting next year, the GM announced that the New Orleans Hornets will turn into the New Orleans Pelicans.
What do you think about that?
That is a horrible idea. Pelicans?
Let's go Pelicans?
What the hell's a pelican? That's just nasty.
Imagine sitting in the crowd saying, "Let's go Pelicans, let's go." See, it just doesn't sound right because most teams in the NBA are the double syllable. But Pelicans, that's 3 syllables and it's not gonna sound right, you know?
And it's just...
A hornet is a stinging bee. What's a pelican? A skinny thing that can balance on one foot.
Flamingo.
Whatever.
I'm just mad about that. Why would they do that? They're already the worst team. At least they can change their names.
Why don't you change your team instead of the freaking name?
Alright, so the battle of LA, Lakers and Clippers. Who do you think is going to take out the division this year?
It's going to be the Clippers.
It's obviously going to be
very obvious.
Very obvious for that. Alright, so after 1 week from last Friday, things are shaking up in the West. OKC going on top, San Antonio going into 2nd place.
They're tied, actually.
And the Clippers going into 3rd place. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, the Clippers are 6-4 in their last 10 games. It's
Alright.
pretty decent. Not really what Clippers are more like used
Yeah.
to. They should be like 8-2, 9-1.
Yeah.
But I think it will stay like this. How you see the roster, like the standings like this, will remain like that, except Houston will not be in the playoffs and it will be Lakers.
No, you know what I think will happen? Utah won't make the playoffs. I'll tell you that.
It won't?
Won't make the playoffs. Houston will get into 7th seed. And a surprise team, Portland Trail Blazers with their rookie LaMarcus Aldridge.
He's
Not rookie.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah. LaMarcus Aldridge, your all-star, my bad, will make the playoffs this year. Lakers, no. They're not going to make it this year.
That's a very bold statement here.
I don't think they're gonna make it either. I really don't think they are.
They have to win 30. They have to go 30-10 in their next 40 games.
Hey, you know how we said the Eastern Conference is not that challenging. When you see it though, the Atlanta Hawks are in 6th place in the East. They're only 4.5 games behind Miami Heat for 1st place.
Yeah, but let me tell you this.
It's a closer race in the East for standings wise. Boston is only 8.5 games behind Miami for 1st. So you can just imagine already.
But I don't think the East is going to have a championship this year. I think it's going to go to the West.
Yes.
West has so many strong teams, and a surprising team, the Golden State Warriors in 5th seed.
I don't know why I think the Warriors are going to stumble.
In the playoffs?
No. After the All-Star break.
Alright, so we're going to come to you guys back with the NFL right after this. See you later. Alright, so welcome back to ESPN Junior. We're going to get you guys with the NFL. So let's get started. Super Bowl. It's time.
Yeah!
It's that time again.
Baltimore Ravens, baby! 49 Baltimore Ravens.
Alright, so last time they played was on Thanksgiving Day, November 24th, 2011.
That game ended 16-6, I believe.
Yes, it did.
Baltimore winning. Raven.
Alright, so we're going to get started with Colin Kaepernick versus Joe Flacco. Who do you think is the more talented quarterback?
I believe Joe Flacco is the more talented quarterback in the playoffs. In the season, it was Kaepernick. But now it's the playoffs. It's Joe Flacco time. See what I'm saying, folks? Flacco, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the postseason. That's terrific stuff.
What do you think, Pierre? Who's
Well,
a better quarterback?
I'll say Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, he's having breakout season for second year man. He's just came out of nowhere, and he got lucky from Alex Smith getting injured. And I don't think San Francisco would have been in the Super Bowl right now if it wasn't for him.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yes, I believe so.
So who do you think?
I think Joe Flacco is because same reason as him. I don't think Colin Kaepernick has enough experience yet because he was ranked bench the whole time and now he just
but
he showed a lot of heart in
both
the
of them
NFC
never been to the Super Bowl.
Don't get me wrong, he's very talented, but I just think Flacco is better in the playoffs.
Alright. So let's talk about Ray Lewis, his inspiration on the team. What do you
He's
think?
a very emotional person. I think he's gonna take this team to the Super Bowl and
To win the Super Bowl.
to win the Super Bowl. So, what do you think?
Ironically, to your opinion and my opinion, there was a poll taken courtesy of ESPN's show Sports Nation. They asked who will win the Super Bowl this year. 55% of the people who voted.
Why'd you say that? I was gonna say that.
Oh my god.
And there was a poll taken by ESPN's Sports Nation that asking who will win Super Bowl 47. 55% of the fans who voted went for 49ers. 45% went for the Baltimore
I
Ravens.
agree with that. 49ers are gonna win the Super Bowl probably.
I think they're not. I think Ravens are gonna win because of Ray Lewis. Because he's gonna have an emotional pep talk before the game, and it's gonna get all the
Alright, but
players
before
hyped
choosing all
up.
that, let's go through all the statistics and see who's gonna win.
Let's see.
So, are you guys surprised by the teams that are in the Super Bowl this year? 49ers and the Ravens.
Well, the 49ers I am, because I really thought it'd be the Packers, because they were shaping out to be something else at the end of the season.
I thought both of them were surprising because of Colin Kaepernick and fourth-seeded
I'd say 49ers had an easier ride
Baltimore
through.
Ravens.
Easier ride through, but I think the Packers would have won it, but they didn't. But then, for the Ravens, it was a very tough ride, having to play
Broncos.
freaking Denver, Houston, Texans. That's tremendous stuff right there. So,
And what surprised me about the Ravens is how they beat Denver Broncos. Went to double overtime.
that was a terrific game.
That was a great
It was.
game. And did you see the Seahawks game?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Wow. There was no defense there. The Seahawks could have been in the Super Bowl if they
But
won that game.
I think San Francisco 49ers have a stronger team, stronger defense.
Defense, to me, yes, but offensively, not.
It's very interesting stuff. The 49ers are favored by 3.5 points under, which is a field goal or less, I guess. So it's good. What else you got, Pierre?
Okay, so who was the biggest winner on Sunday?
I'd say the Ravens, because they played a tough Patriots team and they won.
Well, I agree with you. When they beat that Patriots, I thought they were gonna lose to the Patriots.
It was icing on the cake for me because my sister, shout out to her, her name's Lucy. She begged for the Ravens to lose because she's a diehard Steelers fan, and she wanted the Patriots to win. But once she saw that the Patriots were gonna lose, she just went to her room and just started like laying down. And I was just dancing around and just making me.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to the biggest change for the 49ers since last year.
Colin Kaepernick.
Obviously, Colin Kaepernick.
Not a surprise, just.
But I think the 49ers had Kaepernick last year too. I
They did
remember
have
seeing
him.
his face. But this year they utilized Kaepernick.
Because of the injury of Alex Smith.
And he got the moment and was able to capitalize. And it was terrific.
Alright, so our final question for this week for NFL is, which team has star power?
I wouldn't say star power. I'd say Ravens have star power, but 49ers have firepower. As in the ability to turn it on offense
And-
whenever they want.
And turn the game around.
Just like the Thunder in the NBA.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say 49ers have star power. Colin Kaepernick, Smith, they're gonna. I think it's gonna be. They're just gonna win. I'm just saying that right from now.
I'm just saying it's gonna be
Before
a
my
tremendous
predictions.
game.
An interesting movement the Ravens did in the postseason to experiment. They moved Michael Orr to the right side instead of the left. And I think it's been the best move they've done.
Exactly. That's why they've been winning these games. It's been
Michael
changing.
Orr from Ole Miss was just great.
Alright folks, that's it for the NFL this week. Right after this, we're gonna come to you guys with NCAA basketball.
Remember folks, Baltimore Ravens 24, 49ers 10.
I'm not
Like-
saying the predictions yet.
Whatever, cut it.
Alright folks, welcome back to ESPN Junior, now with NCAA basketball. Right now, the number 1 team Duke just got an upset last night against Miami, 90-63. It was an upsetting game.
They shut down Plumlee. They really did.
The coach was embarrassed to even be there after the first 15 minutes of the game. They went on a 35-1 run. It was just, they were blowing them out.
That is not a great sign for Duke.
Duke, that's another number 1 team losing again. Another one. I just can't believe it. And also interesting is UCLA beat Arizona, number 6 Arizona yesterday by a blowout.
UCLA is starting to get back on top. They've started to win some games.
They just dropped from the rankings last week, but after that win, they're probably gonna get back to the top 25. Then coming Michigan will probably be our new number 1 seed for next week. And Kansas is having a great season after losing 4 seniors last year. Then coming Syracuse.
Syracuse
Orange.
has been my favorite basketball team in college this year. Because, by the way, did you guys see the game against Louisville?
Of course.
That was a terrific performance by Syracuse. Carter Williams showed that he's a dominating point guard in the basketball world. And they're doing great. I believe they'll be number 1 in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm not that big of a NCAA college basketball fan, but I'm gonna have to go with Syracuse as my favorite team because I don't know why I think to that school.
No, don't say that.
Pause it now.
You can't say that.
So shoot.
Go. Alright folks, so welcome back. Oh my god, please.
Go, keep going.
Okay, so welcome back to ESPN Junior. And continuing on with this rankings in men's basketball, Butler has been a surprising team this year.
Yes, they have, Pierre.
Beating number 1 Indiana early on in the season.
Indiana made a lot of noise at the start, but now they suck.
Yeah, they're just falling and falling. I don't know what's gonna happen with them. They're gonna make the tournament, but let me ask you a question. Who do you think's gonna win this year in the 64?
I think Syracuse will.
I think Syracuse too.
Not just because I'm a fan of Syracuse. When you see them play, they have a lot of teamwork, and they will to pass the ball.
They share the ball.
They are willing to pass.
Alright, I'm gonna go with VCU. I like how they're playing right now.
What place are they in?
They're in 23rd place right now. Whatever! God.
They're not even ranked.
Yeah,
Pierre
they
John.
are. Virginia Commonwealth.
That's Virginia.
VCU.
Oh.
It's VCW.
No, it's not.
Okay, keep going, keep going.
Alright, so VCU is gonna be a surprising team this year. I just know it. I know they're gonna make the tournament and they're gonna surprise everyone, make the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, and they're gonna win the championship against Kansas.
Bold statements there by Pierre Simone, everybody.
Alright, so that's it for men's basketball. Right after this, we're gonna come to you guys with NHL. Welcome back to ESPN Junior. My name is Pierre Simonian, Hago Benasian, and Henry Ganasian. Let's talk about the NHL, folks.
Well, we'll start off with our hometown LA Kings. They're not doing great this season, Pierre. They're probably in a little championship hangover.
Yeah,
hopefully this horrible start will wear off.
Yeah.
And make them go
last
away.
night against Edmonton Oilers, they started off good, couldn't convert on their power plays. They have to do something. They have to change. They have to score more. Last year, 29th overall in scoring.
They're
just in the playoffs. They're a good playoff team. I love the LA Kings. They're my favorite team. I love them.
They're in last place, Pierre, with a 1 point.
Chicago
Blackhawks.
After 3 games. Chicago Blackhawks off to a great start.
My favorite team.
Detroit Red Wings.
And Chicago Blackhawks.
Da, 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 da.
They have the best goal horn ever, folks. Remember that.
Alright, so they started off the season with LA Kings 5-2 blowout.
Everybody thought once they got Kopitar back it'd be solved, but they still lost.
Yeah, but he came back from injury. He's not that good. I think it's gonna change. Their coach Gerald Sutter will put them in their discipline and everything, and Kings will get back on track, make the playoffs, and can have another shot at the Stanley Cup. What do you guys think?
We'll see, Pierre.
You think they have a shot at the Stanley Cup?
I think they do, because they started off like this last season too.
Yeah.
They barely made it into the 8th seed, and they just blew out everyone in the playoffs.
I think they like to be the underdogs. I don't know.
But a team to watch for in the Eastern Conference, the Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres are fast with their great goalie Ryan Miller.
They're great.
They're off to a hot start. Ottawa Senators, New Jersey Devils, Tampa Bay Lightning. They all start off good during the season, but I think they're eventually going to go down, and the top teams are going to take over, just like in the Western Conference this year. What do you guys think? Just like how it is in basketball?
I believe so, because right now the Kings are looking at every team. This is what they're thinking. Let these young bucks play. We'll get them earlier on in the first round, but we get swept by us. They're gonna do the same thing like we did last year.
But I think a lot of bad teams from last year are going to make the playoffs this year because it's a short season. All the young teams start off good, like last year Edmonton Oilers were in 3rd, 2nd, 1st place even at the beginning of the season, but eventually fell down because of the 82-game season.
How many games is it now this year?
It is 48 games only.
Wow, that's tremendous.
So the Kings have to make an improvement. Only 45 games left.
They have to make a quick start. They have to get it going right away. So
no all-stars, they just have to get it.
They gotta get it going. They can't wait.
Right. When they win, they get momentum.
Just like the Lakers.
With that momentum building up, then they have a better chance of
Just
winning.
like the Lakers,
Right.
they can't wait to get things moving. They have to start rolling right now. They gotta run around and make shots.
Right. So that's it for this week for ESPN Junior. If you would like to be on this show, you can email us at espnjunior@gmail.com or comment below on our YouTube channel. And what else would you like to say to the audience today?
I'd like to say people should have fun watching the Pro Bowl. It's gonna be a nice, high scoring offense. Hopefully the teams will try harder this year. It's in Hawaii, great weather, nice women. Have fun watching the Pro Bowl, everybody.
And what would you like to say?
Nothing.
So Miro, if you're out there, Miro, watching this right now and want to be on the show,
Haruda Pines,
Armand, everyone out there, just comment below or email us. Thank you, and have a great day. You look dental. Turn it around, Mom.
Make a promise time listen.
Yalla!
Hi everyone, and this is a new show called ESPN Junior, but we're gonna say something different, like, yeah, okay, bye. Hi, and welcome to a new edition of ESPN Junior. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Wahlberg,
Good evening, everybody, on this wonderful Friday afternoon. My name is Pierre Simonian, coming to you guys with Hago Banasian and Henry Ganasian.
What the hell, Hub?
This is not supposed to... Good evening, everyone, and this is a new edition of... No, I messed up. Okay, go again.
Friday day.
Friday day. Go. Oh, it's on right now. Pause it. Pause it.